AI layoffs are everywhere. But what if this is just the beginning? We'll explore a scenario of how the layoffs could trigger an unstoppable death loop, leading to a huge impact on the foundations of how society functions, not because AI failed, but because it actually worked. It all started when AI agents get much better, and they started working for consumers 24/7. It sounds like a dream come true, but here's the thing about the economy. A surprising amount of it depends on human laziness. Like when you buy something online, you don't really compare prices across 5 different platforms. When you buy insurance, you just accept a price hike next year out of inertia. You simply don't have the time to deal with all these details. But AI agents have all the time in the world. They will do all these things for you. The outcome was swift. Travel agencies, the insurance industry, and apps like DoorDash all began collapsing. Even Visa and MasterCard took a massive hit because AI agents transacting would rather use crypto than credit cards. This certainly saves the money for consumers, but it triggered brutal layoffs across all these intermediation industries. And the impact didn't stop there. AI coding tools got a lot better too. It suddenly became so much easier for companies to develop their own software in a matter of weeks. Companies that had been paying for Salesforce, Zendesk, and Asana suddenly didn't need to anymore. Revenue at these major software firms dropped, and more layoffs followed. This is where it got dangerous. These initial AI layoffs kicked off a death loop with no exit. Fewer workers mean less consumer spending. Less spending means revenue pressure across the board, which pushes companies to cut costs and invest even more into AI. AI becomes more capable, and that triggers the next round of layoffs. Yet there were still winners. AI infrastructure companies were making record revenue, pumping the whole stock market to record high for investors. A lot more companies were looking more efficient than ever. More and more AI agents were working instead of humans. It looks like a productivity miracle until we realize a fatal issue. AI agents don't shop, don't travel, don't eat out. AI agents are not consumers. This brings us to the collapse of the consumer economy, because white-collar workers are the consumer economy for the US. They represent 50% of employment but drive 75% of consumer spending. A lot of people believe that AI will eventually create new jobs, exactly like the steam engine revolution. But there's a massive difference. Steam engines were only more powerful than horses, so we humans can control steam engines. But when AI agents are more powerful and fundamentally smarter than humans at almost everything, why would they need humans to control them? With their incomes disappearing, former white-collar cut back on their spending hard and fast. Many flooded into the gig economy, overqualified, underpaid, competing for blue-collar work, and driving wages down across the entire service sector. The damage eventually reached the financial system. Housing market in major tech hubs like the Bay Area and Seattle took serious hits. Prime mortgage delinquencies appeared for the very first time in history. Desperate, these former white-collar workers looked to government for help. And that's when they found out the government itself was running out of money. The system wasn't designed for a crisis like this. The federal government revenue base is essentially a tax on human time. But with fewer and fewer humans actually working, that revenue base began to shrink. The result was the government being forced to spend more on households at the exact time it was collecting less in taxes. Then the consequences came from every direction. Former professionals went homeless, public faith in education system collapsed, people retreated into flood of AI-generated entertainment. Occupy Silicon Valley started with demonstrators blocking the entrance to major AI labs for weeks. Thankfully, this is only a scenario based on Citrini report, and it paints a pretty depressing picture for the future of AI. The ultimate question this scenario presents is this. For the entire history of modern economy, human intelligence has been the scarce and valuable input. What happens when machine intelligence becomes an even better and cheaper substitute? So what do you think? What should we do to avoid a scenario like this? Please leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.